Okay, Hamadi, it's all yours.
All right, I'd like to thank everybody for being here and welcome to this September meeting of the Human Rights Commission. I am Hamadi Jackson. I am the chair and I am in Ward 5 and we're going to do some basic introductions. We'll just popcorn it around. So I will throw it to Kelsey.
Hello, my name is Kelsey Murray. I use she, her pronouns. I am the vice chair of the commission and I live in Ward 4 and I'm going to pass it to Jackie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jackie Leon, commissioner as well. She, they pronouns, also in Ward 4. And I'll pass it to Lisa.
Thanks, Jackie. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Novak. I live in Ward 3 and I use she, her pronouns. I'm a member of the commission. And I will pass to Robert Marshall.
Hello, everybody. My name is Robert Marshall. I am a guest attending today's Human Rights Commission. I use he, him pronouns, and I will pass it to Lieutenant Aguilar.
Hi, I'm Debbie Aguilar. I'm a lieutenant with Salem Police. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the liaison between the Salem Police Department and the Human Rights Commission. And it looks like Linnell just popped on, so I'll pass it over to her.
Hi, my name is Linnell. I am the program manager at Safe Sleep United and a huge fan of the Human Rights Commission and especially the work you're doing lately. And I don't know who hasn't gone, so I joined a little bit late, I'm sorry.
Well, I haven't gone, so I'll go. I'm Laura Fouts. I'm a member of the commission. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a resident of Ward 3. I guess that leaves you, Gretchen.
I think so. Hi, I'm Gretchen Bennett, staff to the commission and use she, her pronouns.
Thank you, everybody, for introducing yourselves and for being here once again. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and move to our public comment section. So, Gretchen, if you have anything or if any of our guests want to speak at this point.
Nothing received prior to the meeting.
And Robert or Linnell, would you like to say anything?
I was just thrilled to see the presentation at Monday's City Council meeting, and I'm really looking forward to the September, the next meeting where you guys are going to be sharing more. And I'm so grateful for all the work you do and the fact that you're also doing presentations to City Council. Thank you for all you do.
I have nothing further to add. I think Linnell said it perfectly.
On that note, I am going to personally thank Lisa for standing in for me. Humbly apologize for my absence. Wires were crossed, things were missed, and I do apologize for that. But I do thank Lisa for standing in because I hear she did a wonderful job, and it's nice to know that did go on because we all put so much work into it. So thank you a million times. Thank you.
My pleasure. No problem. We're all in this together. And really, that was the most important thing. The show had to go on, so it was fine. So no problem. No worries. It was all good. Thank you.
No worries. Let's see. We do not have quorum, so approval of minutes and agenda, I do not believe we can do because we cannot vote if we are not on quorum. And if we don't have quorum, is that correct, Gretchen?
Yes.
Okay. So then we'll go ahead and skip that section and go ahead on to our action or discussion items. So that would be our bias crime report. So Lieutenant Aguilar, take it away.
Thank you. So we had 2 bias incidents and 1 bias crime this last month. The first bias incident occurred on August 21st down in Southeast Salem. And it was a family, an Asian family received 2 different letters in the mail. And the letters were referring to their Asian heritage and wasn't necessarily threatening, but making comments about how they wanted them to move out of the neighborhood, didn't like them there. And so the victims actually did a great job. They connected with the city, who connected them with me. I was able to collect some evidence and chat with them. It didn't ultimately rise to the level of a crime. However, I did make the FBI aware, so they have it documented. We have it documented. And then I also referred the victims to the state bias hotline, so they were able to receive advocacy work through them. And then they also have my direct phone number. So hoping that no further letters are received, but if they are, they know what to do. So so that was just documented in a police report. And like I said, the FBI also documented that in their files. The second is I documented it as a bias incident. It happened on, or was reported on September 11th, and it was in, I believe, Southeast Salem. A victim called to report that her pear tree, she has an Asian pear tree, that it was, had been trimmed back last year without her consent. And this year she actually found it to be cut down, completely cut down. It's in a part of the house or part of the yard that's accessible to the public. So she indicated that she thought that it might be related to her race as Asian heritage, but there's really nothing that I was able to confirm that it was because of that. So I documented it as a bias incident, but obviously if we get more information that there's a connection there, then that would be that would be considered a bias crime, and we would follow through with that particular charge if we were to locate a suspect. There's no suspects right now at that time, so it was documented. The third is a bias crime, and it's a criminal mischief, which is damage to property. And it also happened in Southeast Salem against a victim who identifies as Black. And he reported to us that he found his truck had been spray painted with various language, some of it being racially motivated. He actually saw people who he thinks are the suspects in this case. And so the officer did go out, made a report, and has some potential follow-up to do, had collected some evidence. So there is a potential that there could be some arrests made in that particular case. Right now, there aren't arrests at this point, but there's potential for in the future. And so that one was also documented in a police report. And those are the three that I have this week, or this month. So I don't know if there are questions.
I actually did have a question. With the first one that you referred to the FBI, will they contact you after at some point and let you know like the progress or the resolution?
Yeah, I contacted them because there's actually, it's against federal law to make threats via the U.S. Postal Service. And so I was hoping maybe there might be something that could happen on the federal level, but because of the verbiage, it wasn't really threats. They weren't able to do anything. So that's really why I reached out to them. And then they were going to reach out to the victims as well. So if something more were to happen, we would probably find out before them, and then I would communicate with them actually, and we would work together to decide if we were able to develop a suspect and make a criminal case, then we can decide whether it's better to go federal charges or state charges. So that was my reason for reaching out to them, was just because I thought there could be the potential for a federal crime, but unfortunately it just didn't rise quite to that level.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you, Lieutenant Aguilar, for sharing those important things that are taking place in the community. I serve as a commissioner as well on the Oregon Asian Pacific Islander Affairs. It's a commission that's appointed by the governor, and we provide guidance / suggestions at the policy level, but also report back to governors as well as to other key elected officials on the ongoings that's taking place within the community. When I was on city council, we had talked, I think, once or twice before about other hate crime situations that were taking place within the Asian community. is there a way where we could connect probably after today and see if there's anything that the commission can do to help support these families or individuals?
Yes, absolutely. You probably know my email, so, or Gretchen can get you my contact information. So I'd be happy to work with you in any way possible. So that's great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, did anyone else have any questions for Lucinda Laviglar? Then I am going to go ahead and move forward to our complete complaints and concerns that the city might have received. So Gretchen, take it away.
Thank you. I received one during the period. It was from a person who experiences some mobility disabilities and was struggling getting up and down sidewalks when there's also people standing or people hanging out or also camping. It was a little bit of a mix of people just kind of around the area and people camping. And so talked about the need for the accessible path of travel all the way through, and then worked with our team to try to help make sure that area has as much clearance as we can.
Awesome. So I'm glad you guys were able to take care of that. Is there any questions for Gretchen on that from anyone? Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you, Gretchen, and also thank you, Lieutenant Aguilar, for your input in there. So next, I'm going to move forward with the City Council presentation, like an update on that. So I'm going to hand this one over to Kelsey and Lisa, since you guys were both in attendance. So, whichever one of you wants to go.
I wasn't able to go either.
Oh, no.
So it was fine. There wasn't a full house. I don't think I think some of the counselors were working remotely or were absent, but I think that the presentation itself, I felt the vibe that I got while I was giving the speech, was that they were very much paying attention, that the audience, the counselors, the mayor, the city staff, and the audience were all paying attention to the context. And I felt really good afterwards when one of the counselors approached and really, expressed interest in attending one of our future meetings, as well as the gentleman I had mentioned before. So I think my feeling walking away from it was that it was a lot of dense material. And I think it's giving folks something to reflect on. And I don't think it would be necessarily a bad thing if we had an open invitation to the counselors to attend as they're able, or to review one of our meetings. But overall, I think it was well received. So how about you, Gretchen? Do you have any comments or any feedback?
No, I agree. And I think that would be just fine. It'd be very easy to share with the city council the date and time of the meetings and extend that open invitation on your behalf. Jackie used to be in that position of being a city councilor. I don't know if she'd have any feedback on, effectiveness of that approach or other ideas. And I know Robert also attended the meeting Monday night as well and might have thoughts to share too.
Yeah.
I mean, my suggestion would be if you feel like there's certain counselors that weren't present, like they weren't in person that you feel like they should have been, that's one way you could definitely reach out to them and ask to have a meeting, and take in consideration too, like you mentioned, that was kind of dense. So it's there's any key points that you think would be most important for the counselors to be aware of or to hone in on. And if there was even a suggestions or recommendations page in terms of what can the counselors do within the next, let's say 2 or 3 years, depending on the length of their time on council.
Oh, that's great stuff. I hadn't thought of that, especially if, something is specific to their geographical area or their area of expertise, to highlight that. And, we'll be doing action in your, in ward, whatever. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. Thank you for that.
Some other suggestions I'm thinking of offhand, it depends on capacity at this point. There's how many neighborhood associations now? I
Oh,
lost the number.
I
Count.
want to say 17.
So there's the opportunity, if you're willing to go to the different neighborhood associations and share the report within the community, especially where you're having, let's say, a larger number of people who are responding. So you don't necessarily have to go to every single one, but to the ones that make sense to attend. My other thought or suggestion around this specifically, and I just lost a thought, but if I remember it, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for those ideas. Yeah.
Robert, did you want to speak on your opinion on what happened or how everything went?
Yeah, no, I think the presentation went well. Personally, I was a little disappointed. I was kind of expecting everything to be like there to be a few more questions or a little more engagement from the city councilors. Kind of just I was hoping for them to kind of like promote kind of like that exchange and discussion or dialogue at the meeting. I did notice that a lot of people were taking notes, and I witnessed the police chief on like a lot of things we're mentioning. I saw him actively taking notes, which I thought was really great to see. And it's been witnessed and everything by the police department's seriousness as well in their engagement with service providers to want to connect more with the unsheltered population and make sure those that discrimination isn't happening. And so it was really great to see him there present and taking notes. I did kind of just recently appreciate Jackie's kind of recommendations and kind of taking that report and the material that we gathered from that and kind of having some more of those like one-on-one conversations or some of those smaller group discussions just to really get that data out there and the message of what we're trying to do and achieve.
No, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And then Jackie, like your insight is invaluable. Like me, like we'll be leaning on you quite a bit when it comes to things like that, if you don't mind.
That's fine
I-
with me.
I will try not to put you on the spot, but I can't guarantee that because I will put people on the spot all the time.
I have a question, well, a comment. I also watched the meeting and I was impressed with the presentation and the engagement and the seriousness that city councilors were giving the presentation, but also wished for more engagement. But then there was, sometimes when we talk about people who are experiencing homelessness and we're looking for safety for the people who are home sheltered, and it's a hard balance. Of course, you want safety for everyone. But I don't know if this committee would have any kind of role in educating. I mean, I'm going to try to do it very softly from the sidelines, but I've been seeing some city and county commissioners sharing pictures of people with the trash around them and talking about, we can't have this. This is not safe. This is not okay. We can't put up with this anymore. And I feel like, of course, we need to say that we need to do better than this. And of course, we need to say, let's find more creative options and solutions. But when you couple that with the pictures, you've got pictures of people at their lowest low of life. And when you also add the trash, it's so easy to dehumanize fellow human beings. And those are the situations that lead some people to feel like it's okay to beat the crap out of someone because they're homeless and they're slobs and, they're not contributing and they're just making dangerous situations for everyone else. So what I would wish for is if there's a way to kind of educate people, share your opinions, share your creative ideas, share, what you're not going to put up with and also what you're going to do differently. But to couple that with pictures of people at their very low and the trash, you're othering people. And as soon as we other people, you make it easier for violence to happen. And when you're busy, talking about the homeless guy with a machete or something, you're not noticing how many homeless individuals are being beaten up and killed by other people who have shelter. So I don't know if there's any avenue for this commission to kind of do some education. I mean, as an advocate, I'm going to try to do that. But it's so hard to see the pictures that some people are posting in very good intent. Like, you know, this is not habitable, this is not safe, but it's really painting a picture that others, fellow human beings, and shows them at their lowest. And I feel like if we can do something to educate so that that piece doesn't happen, have your narrative and have your solutions, but please don't show pictures of people at their very lowest with all the trash that makes it into like these are other less than human beings, because we're having more and more situations of people beating up people who are homeless. Some of it by teenagers, and I can't even fathom that. But when we add those pictures to the narrative, we're creating more otherness, and that creates more risk of violence.
Thank you, Lena. I really appreciate, sorry.
No worries. I was just gonna say thank you for that. I think that the number one thing would be just for us to, as we talk about, you know, the situation, to not, I mean, to maybe actively encourage, hey, you know, you might not want to put a picture of that. It's really not appropriate. It does not help the narrative whatsoever. And then just keep going like that. And also just thank you for even speaking that, because this is, you know, it does go out on YouTube. People do watch it. So, you know, anytime that we can bring it up and make it known, then we should. And that in itself, you speaking it does that. So we just continue to push forward with it.
I
And
wanted
then
to
with that,
add,
Jackie?
yeah, I'm so
No worries.
sorry.
No worries.
Linnell, I really appreciate again your advocacy, especially for our unsheltered populations. You know, when was it 2 years ago? You and I had walked parts of downtown Salem together, visiting with some of the unsheltered community, having brief conversations, handing out sandwiches, but just trying to check in on them, seeing how they were doing. And the reason why I had asked Linnell to do this with me was I wanted to hear from folks, like, you know, what were they experiencing? Were they experiencing any violence specifically at the hands of, let's say, police officers or from anybody else who happened to be in the area? And those were, whether it was like a short 1 minute, leave me alone, versus a few other people who were willing to talk. And one person who talked for almost, I think, 15 minutes, and just sharing like within that 15-minute time frame, how they became unsheltered, why they're still unsheltered, and, you know, how it is more safer for them to be outside than it is to be inside. And, you know, to be able to, I mean, one way to just some thoughts would be like asking all the city councilors, the current city councilors, hey, do you want to go for a walk with me to where our unsheltered are, and, you know, talk to them, see what they're doing, and realize, you know, they're people too. I think within that negativity, especially when you see all those negative things that are sent about the unsheltered population, like Linnell was saying, the othering or dehumanizing somebody, making them sound like they're less than a human. And that also brings up the humanity of homelessness that Church at the Park is organizing, which I think is next Wednesday, if I remember, at Chemeketa Community College. I mean, it's great that Chemeketa Community College is hosting this, but is this something that could be brought even to the city, like to the city council meeting, and like showing an actual demonstration at a city council meeting? Or is there something that could be organized at the city library even, that could also bring in additional folks, again, to remind people of, we have stories of people who are homeless, and this is what their realities are.
And whether we've been homeless or not, I mean, I'm sure each of us have had some embarrassing moment or some low in our life where we would not want that to be the pictures that people are sharing about us. And I just feel like that it can look so like unintentionally, like, I don't know, ignorant maybe, to just feel like I'm just sharing a picture of what's not okay in our city. But it's a picture that puts a person at their very lowest time on the internet, associated with trash, associated with violence. And I just feel like, please make your points, but please don't add pictures like that, because even if you feel like it furthers your point, it also creates otherness, and that creates more danger.
That's definitely something that we all should push forward with as much as we can. Encourage people to not do things, as much as we can. I mean, sadly, that's kind of an indictment on our society right now, where everybody is really quick to grab a camera when it's not always the best idea. So just keeping it out there, hey, just the way you said it just a second ago, we've all had that embarrassing moment. You wouldn't want that immortalized on the internet. So how about not doing that to someone? No, let's just push forward with that. Okay, was there anybody else that wanted to add anything? Okay, so now we're going to move forward. So I do believe it was the last time that we got together. I think we had mentioned wanting to try to connect with the other HRCs around the state. So now that we're past our presentation part, I think we should push forward with that. We have it on our calendar, on our agenda. So I just kind of wanted to get what everyone else's thoughts about it might be. I really think that, the HRC exists outside of Salem, outside of Portland, outside of all these. If we're truly trying to make a change for the state, then we should be trying to work together with the other HRCs and see what we can do, in solidarity with them. So I want to reach out to the others and see. I was kind of doing a little bit of research. I was absolutely shocked that Portland does not have an HRC. It has been closed down. It's handled by another department now, and I don't even know who to get a hold of with that one. So anyway, that's kind of what I have on my agenda. So I just throw it to the table and see what everyone else thinks about it.
I think that's a great idea. I know Eugene was I think the first city to have the Human Rights Council or Commission too. So even starting with if there's a staff person at Eugene to reach out to. Otherwise, for the city of Portland, I have a few contacts out there. I could ask if any of them know who it's been reassigned to, if it's been reassigned at all, and to how the structure and function looks like. I think it'd be a good starting point. Another recommendation too, especially if that's what your first steps are, is looking at some of the local / state ordinances or declarations or policies that have been passed. Was it a year ago or 2 years ago? Feels like it's all a blur right now. There was 2 specific resolutions that were passed by the city council, Salem specifically. One was declaring racism as a public health crisis, and the second piece was declaring healthcare as a human right. And there was a webpage, if I could find it, that actually shows which cities have passed ordinances that have declared racism as a public health crisis. I think it was actually from American Public Health Association, but there are some resources out there that are going to showcase where people or organizations or entities have declared these things. But that might even be building that conversation, whether it's with Portland, whether it's with Eugene, but also even some of the smaller communities where there are hate crimes and racism that's taking place. Do we have access to some of the data that's limited data at this point that's reported to the DOJ or even to the FBI in terms of where hate crimes are taking place here in Oregon?
This is Gretchen. We do. The Department of Justice is, I'm sorry, my brain's not firing. The team that operates the bias hotline, I'm forgetting the name. They publish data at the county level in Oregon on their webpage. So you're able to click on a county and see what they've had reported there. And I see Lieutenant Aguilar unmuted too.
Actually, because I was going to follow up, I think it was Hamadi or somebody had asked about finding out more specific details on bias crimes from the hotline related to Salem. So it's county specific, but we wanted more specific. And so I spoke with the hotline. She's actually working on that data right now. She said most of the data from Marion County really is centered on Salem, but she said that there are some outliers. So she's actually working on that data. So we'll have more Salem specific data here soon.
That would be a nice piece of information to have for sure.
I happen to have been invited to a meeting with the Eugene Human Rights Commission a week from Friday, so I can certainly mention something if you'd like me to. And I know Bend has established one too, because in their process, they reached out to us to gather information as they were considering it.
I believe that was the guy who reached out to me, and then we couldn't connect. I sent an email back, he sent one back, and then from there it kind of went silent, so I didn't know which way it went. So, but no, definitely, like if you want to mention something, that'd be good. And then
Sure.
I don't know if it's something that we want to try to like. Do we want to like get together on Zoom, or we plan to post anything? Or so I mean, so those are ideas that we can, put forward for later on. That just think about it, and then as we come back the next meeting, we can go from there. I guess I'm inclined to do it by Zoom, just because if there are some for instance, Bend, that would be quite the travel. So just to come for. So if we could do it by Zoom, that would be cool. I don't know, but I'd really like everyone else's feedback on it as well. So just kind of, I don't want to like monopolize it. I want everyone to have their input on it. So
Well, speaking for myself, I think it would be a great idea. At least by Zoom, I think it would be really good to see, share ideas, share knowledge. I think it would be good. And I'd be more than happy to help with the effort and coordinating.
thank you, Lisa. Anyone else have any ideas, questions, comments, concerns? Okay, so just so you guys know, that's what I will be working on here going forward, until you guys throw something else at me. So I will go ahead and put my energy on that going forward. And then we also, moving into the next section, we also have the Salem Speaks Up. So we have been quietly doing the organization for that and the ideas with that. Gretchen, do you want to share where we're at with that, or?
Well, sure. Let's see, a few of us came alongside some of the other planning partners, including the American Association of University Women and some individuals that had been a part of the effort in past years. And so we started to put some shape around what an event could look like. For those of you who haven't heard of this concept before, it coincides with the annual International Human Rights Day, which is December 10th every year. And in the past in Salem, it's historically primarily been an open mic opportunity where people can come and speak about human rights issues or experiences on their minds and share that with the community. So that event has started to take shape to come back. It ended for a couple of years and now is returning. So there's another meeting later this month if anyone's interested. And the process, the step we're in right now is trying to think about all of the people to be sure to proactively reach out to and invite to the table.
And I think we set a date. We did set the December 10th as the date. We're thinking YMCA is where we will be hosting. I'm not sure which room it's going to be in yet, because there might be some scheduling conflict. We're looking at that. We're looking at some of the people who have been involved in the past, some of the organizations, and reaching out to them and seeing if they would still like to. I've had one confirm, and then another one maybe later. I don't know yet. They said, so I'm not sure what that means. So we'll have to see how it goes. So that's what we'll be going for. And then, yeah, once again, you guys, any input that you guys have on it as well, be great. If you would like to speak, the person that's going to be emceeing it is kind of a good friend of mine, so kind of like the guy. He's okay. I would encourage you guys to show up and give him some support, because he's probably going to be deathly afraid. It's me.
Talking about you? Those of us at the meeting are going, wait a minute. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that, and then as it goes, like we have another meeting coming up, so um, we will be confirming more later. So, all right. That being said, I'm going to go ahead to our task force and project updates. We do not have Joaquin with us tonight, so I don't know if anybody can speak to what's been going on with his community engagement task force. So,
This is Gretchen. So, we spent the bulk of the time on the city council presentation at the last meeting, if my memory
Right.
serves me.
Right.
And I know one of the other ideas is to have liaison opportunities, like if people want to regularly visit other commissions or boards or neighborhood associations to help develop relationships. That's something that one thing I'm put out is a list of what those are, so folks could consider signing up for that. The task force would probably also highlight the tabling opportunity coming up. Viva Salem is an event a week from Saturday, I think, on here in September. And a couple of us are signed up to table on that Saturday. So visit our Google sign up sheet for more information, or if you'd like to be there with us.
thank you. And now we will go with the LGBTQIA plus intersectional rights task force. So, Kelsey, please take it away.
All right. So we are still in the middle of planning Transgender Day of Remembrance. We have set so it's November 20th at 7 p.m. in Laux Auditorium. So put it on your calendar. So we have kind of set that. We're still looking we have 3 confirmed speakers or readers. So we're still looking for some folks to be greeters, and more readers would be great. So if you or anyone you know is interested, email Gretchen, or if you have my contact information, email me. What that requires is you to read from the list of names that we have of those that have been killed by anti-trans violence over the last year since the last Transgender Day of Remembrance. And yeah, we have a save the date out, so please share that on social media. Gretchen, I believe it's been shared on the city's. Okay, perfect. So go to the city Facebook page if you want to share. That would be appreciated. We also tabled at the Pride in the Park, which was hosted by Capitol Pride. It was a super fun event. Lots of people. We had a ton of engagement at the table. A lot of people were taking the little wallet cards that we made. So thank you, Gretchen, for getting those printed. We had people signing up for their listservs, and people who were like, I didn't know that this existed, and we're kind of excited about that. So we got some good engagement. So that is really great. So yes. And then I think that was it. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
so.
I'd like to say two things. One, I would be glad to read the Transgender Day of Remembrance. And 2, Kelsey, I am so sorry. I missed the last 2 meetings. I don't even know what happened. It was totally inadvertent, and I'll be at the next one. Please accept my deepest apologies.
You are good. Life happens. I was supposed to be at the city council meeting. We all do this. It's fine. I so appreciate you wanting to be a reader. I will add you to our list. So thank you so much for that.
I believe I can be a greeter for you, but give me to the end of the week to make sure that Mr. Calendar is telling me that I'm clear.
Okay, I will put you tentatively. Thank you, Hamadi.
Yeah, no worries.
This is Gretchen. I should add to the list. We had asked who might be able to volunteer to run the tech, the slideshow, the laptop are not available actually. So we're looking for, I think ideally we look for somebody and then a backup, an understudy in case something happens, because we're so dependent on this role. Somebody would sit back in the control booth and operate the slideshow to time with the speaking. So it involves working with a laptop and pushing the button on the laptop at the right time to be able to move the slideshow, and also adjusting the lighting up and down in the room as needed based on what's going on. So looking for really 2 people who would be open to that job as well.
I wonder if like obviously the lights, that's a different thing, but like a clicker, if it will have the range to do that, to change the slides.
Kelsey, thanks. I'll ask. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know why that
I
hasn't
have
come
one
up.
if we need one, but yeah, if it works.
Okay, I'll ask that.
So yeah, tech support.
Yeah.
And if I am correct, it does not have to be a member. It could be anyone who's interested in helping.
Yep.
Right.
Anyone in the community. Right now, all of our readers, half of them are, now that we have 4, half of them are not current members of the task or of the commission or the task force. And also you do not have to be LGBTQIA+ to be part of this event. So we welcome everyone. And if you are like, I don't want to be a reader, I don't want to be a greeter, don't want to do tech support, absolutely fine. We just welcome that you come anyway, and it's also going to be live streamed as well.
Yeah, I definitely recommend people coming. I was there last year, and it's a powerful day. It's a very powerful day, very moving. So I am going to go ahead and move us forward to our equity ask and staff updates section.
Yeah, I have a few things here. The first one is to let you know our meetings policy has been revised. And now the new default method for meetings to occur at the city is hybrid. So starting, honestly, we could do the task forces later this month, Kelsey, if you want to. That would make sense. Or we can, moving forward, we're able to do hybrid meetings. And so everyone would have a choice. You could appear on Zoom or appear physically in the room. I'll be opening up the Zoom, so you'll have an option. So stay tuned for that adjustment. And also wanted to just make sure you got the invitation to the annual volunteer recognition event. Thank you for those of you who wrote me back on that. Hope to see everyone there. And that's coming up in October. Also, I wanted to give you the bad news that Krista Gallagher won't be with us for the foreseeable future. Krista has a new class which takes her away on these evenings and is unable to attend moving forward. So she's going to step off for a bit, and then I think is really interested in our work, and we'll connect as she's able and return when she's able. But she's got an ongoing conflict with a class for the time being right now. Wanted to let you know that. And then wanted you to know that I received a request just today, actually, or yesterday, from the Historic Landmarks Commission at the city. Some of you may remember that they're looking at updates to a sign. You might remember some past email about this. There's a sign which I think reads "began here," and then there's some text, and it's over near 990 Broadway Street Northeast. And the group is wanting to update the sign and is looking for a regular liaison from the Human Rights Commission to participate in those conversations. They said these would be running in conjunction with a tribal roundtable that they participate in. And the meetings are anticipated, there will be 1 to 3 hour meetings on Zoom beginning in October, and they would be the second Monday morning of the month from 8:30 to 9 a.m. So I don't know if anyone's interested. I also sent the note out to a couple of the commissioners that I knew weren't going to be here and might also be interested as well. But you can let me know now if you're interested, or send me a note, whatever's best for you. But I think that's what I've got for tonight. Yeah, it'd be silly not to mention the city's in some really active budget conversations as well. That's certainly a really big part of the city conversation. And Monday night, city council will be engaging in a work session to consider the current existing city budget and some concerns about revenue shortfalls and what that might look like. So that's a pretty active conversation right now too at the city. But that's what I brought.
Active is putting it nicely. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I would love to attend that, but mornings don't work for me. But I would encourage anybody that has the time to please feel free. I think that would be an important conversation to be a part of.
You know, I could do it. I would be at work and then just, I could do it. Logistically, I can do it. I'm just curious, what are they looking for from the HRC?
I think although she didn't say today, I think in the past email, she's just recognizing the human rights and equity themes in the language of the existing sign and the intention around being as inclusive as possible in the new sign.
Oh,
But
okay.
I can find and forward you. There's more detail, I think, that dates back a couple months that I can find and forward you.
They want to be in alignment with the Human Rights Commission. Yeah, that sounds like something I could work with. Yeah, I can do it.
Thanks,
I can do
Lisa.
that.
Great.
Okay, sure,
Thank you, Lisa.
sure.
All right. So I will go ahead, and I am going to miss Krista. So, but her seat is hers when she wants it, as far as I'm concerned. So. All right, so I will go ahead and move us forward. Now, Hope is not with us, or Commissioner Strayer. She is not with us tonight. Gretchen, did she happen to send over a calendar to you at all, or?
We did. That should be attached to your agenda. And I don't believe there were any new events that we haven't explored previously, but I think coming up are Viva Salem, the Transgender Day of Remembrance and Salem Speaks Up that we've talked about. I don't think we discovered a lot of other things that hit the calendar, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't see anything outside of those on the
Yeah.
calendar at all. Okay. So that brings us to just about to our conclusion. So we will probably be at our next meeting. Should we have a quorum at that point, we will be voting on the minutes and agenda that we push forward, and then of course the one from this meeting. Again, I want to apologize for missing the presentation and thank Lisa for stepping in. Another thing that I wanted to bring up that I keep meaning to say, I may have said it before. If any of you guys have not actually met the chief of police, he's actually really, really cool. Like, I really like the guy. He seems like he's very easy to talk to. Like, he's open to suggestions. He seems like a good guy. So I would say if you get a chance to have a conversation with him, please do. Especially, I'm not sure how people on the commission feel. I know there are some viewers out there who have, maybe have trust issues with the police. So I always try to encourage people, start a conversation, have a conversation, see where things are going, and then form your opinion from there, or see where you can help. But it all starts with a conversation. So, and I'm sure Lieutenant Aguilar could tell you, he actually is a pretty good guy. So I would encourage people to have a conversation if they get it. Other than that, any other member remarks? Oh, okay. Well, then I thank all of you guys for showing up tonight, and thank you for your input. And our next meeting will be October 11th. So I hope to see you all then. And good night.
Thank you.